It's really funny. The Indian fans push out the American. That's not his harkat. And the poor Americans are like, excuse me, can we have a photo? We love your show.
When you have to put on this American accent, is it tiresome?
It's very difficult. Like, it's as difficult as being Kashibai and having a Peshwan, or like a Maharashtrian accent. You gotta throw it away.
You're sounding erotic. Is that what you're meant to do? Is sounding American mean sounding erotic?
Even in Hindi, I can sound it.
That we know, Priyanka.
Okay. You know, I noticed the big difference now that I've spent so much time in America, that I don't think stars or movie stars around the world will ever understand the stardom that we see.
Yeah.
The kind of love and affection that we see. It's impossible for them to fathom. Especially like with me, when I'm shooting like on the roads and stuff, you have about 500, 1,000 people just standing there, waiting for hours in the cold, just for a picture, just
So
for
has
me.
it happened with you where you've been in this scenario where you're shooting an American television show and you created a lot of noise because of your Indian stardom? Does that happen all the time?
Yeah, because there's so many people who are just waiting and watching, and it's really funny. The Indian fans push out the American. That's not his harkat. And the poor Americans are like, excuse me, can we have a photo? We love your show.
Is that weird for the others on the show? Like they're not used to this kind of like
really
this divide between the two
No, they
kinds
take
of fans.
pictures and all. Whenever I have fans, like my other colleagues and my co-actors, they're taking photographs of the madness that happens. They've never seen it. Like it's very the kind of insane love that we see. How people believe that we belong to them, which we do, is very different. Like that's such a massive difference between the East and the West.
When you have to put on this American accent, is it tiresome?
It's very difficult. Like it's as difficult as being Kashibai and having a Peshwan, or like a Maharashtrian accent.
It's as difficult as that.
Yeah, I had a dialect coach there and I have a dialect coach here.
So you have to play act sometimes.
Yeah, you always act. Like you have to learn how to say the word. It took me so long to say some of these words in American.
So you have to say the last line in the accent. What would you have to say? It took me so long to learn these American words.
It took me a really long time to learn all the American lines. Like it was really hard.
So what do you have to do specifically?
The R's have to be really soft. You have to throw away your words, and you have to make sure you don't enunciate, which is the opposite of what I was taught growing up. You gotta just like throw it away. Just
my God.
You gotta throw it away.
You're sounding erotic. Is that what you're meant to do? Is sounding American mean sounding erotic?
Even in Hindi, I can sound it.
That we know, Priyanka. That, you know, वो फितरत में है. वो फितरत में है.
वो आवाज में.
आवाज में.
फितरत में नहीं है.
Do you feel like any kind of treatment difference in where you come from and who you are on set in America? Because God knows that racism, I mean, is a global phenomenon, and it exists. Have you ever been at the receiving end of it?
Not on set as much. Like I was at the airport once. I was flying back from Europe to New York. And I was sitting, and it was one of those small planes, you know, because we were connecting from a smaller city. And I went to the loo up front, the first class loo, and the air host, he goes, oh, the loos are at the back. I said, what about that? He said, oh, that's just for first class.
Oh dear.
So I was like, so he said, oh, I'm sorry. I said, I'm sitting right there. He goes, oh, I didn't mean
They meant
that.
first world.
Yeah.
Not first class.
Basically, that I was brown and anyway. So I've seen it like that, little things, especially like how I speak English so well, and then I have to explain to people that we have English and Hindi both have been my first languages.